The twins were actually womb mates. So
How long have you been waiting to say that?
I haven't been able to say that in a long time. All right, actually what I came to show you was just something that was incidental finding that's really, really common that parents ask me all the time. So I'm gonna let them cry because I want you to see their tongues, white tongues. And the question is this thrush? So thrush is caused by Candida, which is a type of yeast. And where does it come from? Well, yeast spores are in the air, and yeast likes warm, moist places. And for some reason that I'm not 100% sure on, there's your question. Do your research and get back to me on what you think causes thrush, because I actually don't know other than it's caused by Candida, but why? It's not an immunosuppression thing. You'll see online it's immunocompromised. That's not what it is with babies. It's super common in babies. They're not immunocompromised. They're doing fine. So we're going to take a look at their tongues. Okay, it's easily treatable. I've had much better luck with fluconazole than nystatin, just as a FYI for healthcare providers. We used to always have nystatin be our go-to treatment, but I'd say it's effective less than 50% of the time these days. The yeast, I guess, has become resistant to nystatin. So we have almost 100% success with fluconazole, and I've never had a side effect from it. Obviously, if you look at side effect profiles, there's tons of potential stuff involving the liver, etc., but it's never been an issue, especially for some reason in young children. They seem to tolerate it very well. So I'm going to show you what could have been milk coating on a tongue, but I now am pretty certain it is thrush. So they both have it, and if we get a little crying, that'll be okay. All right. So we're going to start with looking at the tongue, and there you see that white. Quick break for a word from our sponsor, Let's Get Checked. If you've experienced fatigue, lack of energy, you're having sleep problems, you're having anxiety, depression, mood disorders, you can get your answers from the comfort of your home without needing to see a doctor by using Let's Get Checked. So there will be a link in the description below of a various number of panels that I recommend. Things like essential vitamin and nutrient panels, things like hormone panels for males and females. There's even a kit for Lyme disease. You should take advantage of as many of these as you can. This is the way that integrative medicine works. And not only that, Let's Get Checked will have a doctor review your labs, have a nurse call you, and in some cases, the doctor will even make prescriptions for you. So it's an amazing program. I'm using it myself in my own home. I've got family members using this program. You get a 20% discount by accessing using my code, DrPaul20, DRPAUL20. Check the links in the description and go ahead and get yourself tested in the areas that you feel you might have the most need. Looking at the tongue, and there you see that white tongue. That is a really white tongue. And I'll get a tongue blade and try to scrape that off. And it just doesn't come off. See that? It's just on there. And then we look at the gums, and because they might start protesting and it might get a little loud, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that the key is when you've got a white tongue, is it just on the tongue? So a lot of times white tongue is just milk coating, but in this instance, it looked pretty thick to me, so I was suspicious and looked carefully and indeed found some white plaques on the inner gums. And that's for sure we're dealing with thrush, okay? It's easily treatable. I've had much better luck with fluconazole than nystatin, just as a FYI for healthcare providers. We used to always have nystatin be our go-to treatment, but I'd say it's effective less than 50% of the time these days. The yeast, I guess, has become resistant to nystatin. So we have almost 100% success with fluconazole. Okay, we're gonna end off happy. We're gonna end off happy. Here we go.
What is the concern with missing this? What happens if you miss this completely? Repeat that question back if you're willing.
My videographer always asks me the toughest questions. It's like, darn it, you would have to ask me on camera, well, what's wrong with missing this? Probably nothing. Here's the deal though. Okay, oh, shh, shh. Okay, now I've pushed the limit, haven't I? Shh, 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 shh. There you go. It's okay. Shh, shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Shh, 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 shh. So-
with me to sleep like this.
So if you miss it, actually, you can start having feeding problems. You can have upset stomach. The yeast spores that are in your mouth, you're going to end up passing them all the way through your GI tract. Imagine your GI tract getting sort of inflamed and irritated, your esophagus. And then perianal, when you poop, you start pooping out yeast spores, and you start getting a yeast rash on your bottom, usually in the creases, and it can be the whole area though. It can be raw, red, beefy red. Now you've got pain. So yeah, you want to treat this, you want to deal with it. And as far as diaper rash areas, antifungal creams, any will do, and keeping the area dry. So frequent changes, catch them as soon as they're wet, change the diaper. Those would be the main reasons. It's not dangerous to miss it. It's not that big of a deal, but probably eventually you're gonna have to deal with it. So might as well catch it and treat it. Actually, we got a star family over here. Hey, are those your babies?
Are those your
babies? Yeah.
Sisters.
Are you up too, Daddy? Yeah. Yeah. You guys are making for a really good video. It's gonna be super helpful, I think, on both fronts, right? You can parent dance too,
Yeah.
and you can teach them about thrush. And what you're doing there with Big Brother is key, because he would feel displaced, right? And probably be a little more temperamental.
Yeah.
So, giving him all the love you can, it's critical.
Right.
Yeah, and you've done an awesome job with him.